So it is a better way than letter writing. You can see as I'm typing, this person can read and respond. Let's just imagine that we are the one. So let's do some chatting. Can you type something? Okay. Type. And I respond. Ladies and gentlemen, this was the beginning of chatting in 1930s, telex machine, and people realized that this was the best and fastest way to do it, to send information, and this made the post office to be rich wherever it was. The post office all over the world became the richest organization because of that hunger and thirst for communicating amongst with the human. No wonder Safaricom is one of the richest, if it's not the richest organization in East and Central Africa. Letter writing, sending instant messaging, but the voice, not yet. Until Mr. Graham Bell, he invents a microphone. Graham Bell invented a microphone much earlier than 1900. This gentleman by the name Graham Bell had several relatives who had hearing problems. This looks like it was something that ran in the family. The medicine had not improved to such a level like we are now, and therefore the only way Graham Bell thought was to have a device that when placed near your ear, it could give much more strength to the sound so that the deaf could hear. But look, it became the first device to get us a telephone. The magneto telephone. You alert the receiver, and the receiver could also call you to alert you. And both of you can talk. So if it is me, I'm the sender, and I'm trying to get the receiver. Hello? Hello? I try again. Hello? Perhaps he's not there to pick. And if he's there to pick, we shall talk. But ladies and gentlemen, listen to this. For the last 100 years, every time you call your friend, you have been calling him hello, hello. Just call his name or her name, because that was somebody's wife. One of these guys who did the experiment was actually calling the wife's name. Hello? Like you can call your wife's name. Gay. It has become an international language. Hello? We spoke about a computer that could process a number. The network increased so drastically that there was no way now we could handle this through operators. The first task that this machine did was to allow us to process the call through sending a number first, and I will demonstrate. We have just connected this one to a little electronic device to allow us to do the experiment, but the actual electromechanical device is at the corner there, and you are going to see it when you turn. I'm going to call the number, which I already know. I've sent a number, it has been processed, and it's ringing somewhere. So please, a volunteer, if you don't mind, just pick the receiver.
Can you hear me?
Just return it and I'll call you again. Return it, yes. I'll call you again. Don't pick it until it rings. So that was a way to allow us now give the job of connecting telephones through a machine. The first automation happened in around 1900, but this thing spread throughout the world very fast. By 1910, we had this technology all over. In Kenya, we had the first exchange using this technology in around 44 or 1945 at Telephone House. It's a little building just behind Teleposta Towers. And it's still there, the building is still there. But that technology was retired in 1998, while I was still an intern at that building. Let's move on to what happened later in 1960s. This rotating to process or to switch your calls was replaced by press button technology because of the transistors, because of the electronics. If you look behind here, you don't see any electronics whatsoever, just plates and gears. But if you look behind this one, you see a lot of electronics. And this enabled this technology to allow us to. I want you to observe very keenly. Look at this telephone. It is having a handset across, horizontal. This one is also having a handset across, horizontal. This one now has a handset this way, and they are always on the left. Majority of humanity are right-handed, so that this hand was always given the job to hold this one as you are talking, and this right hand does the most important job. Today, you can see your missed call on your device, on the screen. In 1900, 1910, you could also see your missed call, but not on the telephone. Not on the telephone. You could see the missed call on the wall, on your wall, sitting room, mostly at the sitting room. The technicians just came, but you have to pay something on top of the normal payment for telephone, yeah? And then you are brought a little box, this one called the bell set. So before you leave your office or leave your house, you have to make sure that the bell set is properly set. I've just set the bell set, and I'm going to demonstrate what happens if at all a call comes in. Please keep looking there as I'm making a call from somewhere. Keep looking there. So let's assume you come back and you notice that little item has fallen off, exposing the white part. I can assure you, you will be a very happy person in the year of our Lord 1900 because you have seen your mistake. But the problem is you do not know what code. So you have to go to your telephone and make sure you call the operator call. Today, you want to send a document to a friend of yours, wherever he is on the planet Earth. All you need to do is just convert your document using a scanner or your smart device in your pocket, and all is done. But before that, you have to have a fax machine to be able to send a document. The fax machine is just a photocopy. The only difference is that it's connected to a line and it can transmit. It's connected to a line. This line is a landline. It's a copper connection. Once I connect, you get a dialing tone. If somebody was to go somewhere out there and cut the wire, you will not get the dialing tone. It means your line is dead. You have to report to the authorities for them to repair. So our dialing tone is there. Then I call. I already know the number which I want to call, because we had directories that carried telephone numbers. By the time Safaricom was entering the market in 1998 in Kenya, we had about 500,000 connections all over Kenya. And those you can fit in a book like this one. So if you want to contact somebody, all you needed to do was get a directory. And everybody who had a telephone had this book. They were given to you by the authorities. So you want to call Kariuki, you look for K, Kariuki. Of course, there are so many Kariukis. You must know 3 or 2 names. Yeah. Then you can rightly now go and use that number. It's going to ring. It's going to ring. That sound gives me now the authority to press start. And the paper will roll in. As it is rolling in, that paper which is blank is rolling in, and whatever is here on this one is copied out on that one. I'm going to demonstrate practically after this, because I know there's something wrong with that particular fax machine. But this one, as you can see, is already rolling in. It's rolling in. Whatever is on this document is converted into electrical impulses, and this particular fax converts back into that information that should be copied onto this paper. If you look carefully at the screen, it has notified you have a fax from ICT Museum, and all you need to do is just press start. It's in the memory. And we have just demonstrated how this technology was so important to us in the world. But today, it's much easier, because that is tedious. So now let's just summarize with the important words, about 6 or 8 words, which are going to help you as you tour the museum. You are going to think about convenience, convergence, choice. You're going to think about portability. You're going to think about diversity. And I'll just do 1 or 2. This is a flexi keyboard. This is also a keyboard, but this one may not be very ideal to walk around with, because you don't need to look for a bag, but you need to just fold this one and keep it in your pocket. Very convenient for you. This one, in the year of our Lord 1960s and 70s, is a keyboard. And if you don't have the key, you cannot use my computer. I must give you the key, copy of the key.
Okay.
The password is very mechanical. Electronic password here. No cables, it is wireless. Very convenient, although not flexi. Again, we are the only members of the animal kingdom blessed with a brain so powerful that we are able to give solutions to all problems that we encounter. Be it our blind brothers and sisters, we take them to the correct schools where they use braille technology, the braille book. They can read it through touching, and they can also write using special tools. And I'm going to use, again, my volunteer here to demonstrate. Please read this book for us. Read the book for us. Okay, I give him 1 out of 10. He's reading with his eyes. This is read with touch. Touch. You are reading with both hands and eyes, eh? So you close your eyes. My brother, close your eyes. And take, oh, just stop there. The gentleman was very serious when he was reading from here. Lakini alipofika hapa, he smiled broadly. Sasa tuambie alisoma nini hapo? Ndio. Braille is not only this. Braille is also on your keypad. It's also on your keyboard. On your keyboard. Braille can also be on your mulikamwizi. Mulikamwizi. Kuna braille. This person who is not able to see needs to know where 5 is. By touching. He needs to know where F and J is by touching. Then the rest he can be trained. She can be trained to know where they are. This is a technology that has been in use. You come into the room and you switch on the lights. You do whatever you are doing, but you sleep when the lights are on. In most cases, you have to switch off, isn't it? So you walk to the switch, which is almost always next to the door. You switch off, and then you turn, and suddenly you lose direction. Now you are looking for where the bed is, so that you don't tumble. Perhaps this is what we need to use. Perhaps you need to use this one, which is a switch just with you, the remote control switch, and it is broadcasting a frequency to a sensor. So ladies and gentlemen, this very small idea about what can this transmitting a frequency do for you. It can be able to do some work for you. It can operate a switch. It can operate that particular switch. It can also operate something else. It can operate your PowerPoint presentation screen. And this is the culmination of our sharing. Because small ideas, they come up be very, very good. Thank you very much for lending me and the Multimedia University your ears this morning. May God bless you. Let me allow one question, and then we do the most important thing. We let ourselves walk. Please go anywhere you feel like going. I'll be coming around there and try to tell you what we know about. One question? Yes?
My question is, can you give the history of Ghana? How they dated, slow pictures, and all these things in the computer?
How did they come to?
Things like pictures, books, in the computer.
The details are in your research. But this is what I can share with you. This is what I can share with you. The difference between this museum and others is that the artifacts are out in the open for you to be able to have physical touch, to be able to touch them and to be able to see if they are working, how do they work. Now, as to pictures, as to voice, sound, the humble beginnings, you just see them. You just see them. If it is pictures, if you look at the wall there, we have already displayed the first technology to be able to allow storage of images. You see an X-ray plate there. As for sound, the first time sound is stored, it was just a vinyl plate. This is a plastic, and there is a groove that runs from somewhere out there to near the center there. And that groove, when you look at it through a microscope, it is not regular, it's very irregular. And how irregular it is exactly how the sound is. A very mechanical way of storing sound, this one. But with magnetism and magnetic tapes, you see them there. The details are in your research. You can go and read more about how it works, but we just show you, this is it now, this is it. Last question? Yes?
About the missed call sensor. What if come out on a missed call?
Oh, yes. This one, the moment you come and find that it has fallen, it gives you the urge to call the operator, isn't it? The moment you call the operator has the power to know how many calls you have. At least you know there was a call. But the operator will tell you there were 2, there were 3, there were 4. So these were very powerful people, the operators, because they knew a lot of secrets. Remember, this was the time when all calls went through the operators and they could not avoid listening to what you are saying. Another thing I want to share with you is something here. We are about 56 million Kenyans, and the world population is now just past 8 billion people. And in Kenya, almost all adults, they have a mobile phone. Imagine using such a technology to serve everyone. We don't have enough metal on Earth to provide everybody with this amount of metal. Senior? So, as we move forward, the population keeps increasing drastically. The good thing about that is that it makes those of us who have something to give to this population, then you have a big market. You have a big market. But the challenge is when it comes to such. And therefore, the way forward is nanotechnology. The smallest, the better, and then we get alternatives. Might be in the future, we may not even have this type of material, but we may have new materials to be able to serve. Because this has brought a lot of problems in the world. Zaire or Congo is known as the poorest country in the world. But that's not true. It is the richest country in the world. But those who know, they just come, take away the minerals because of this high demand. And for them to be able to be in big business, there has to be that kind of confusion and chaos, and that is unfortunate. So please, let's all rise up. Let's tour wherever you can go.
Choco mama. Can I?
Everybody who wrote a letter needed to post that letter. But you will find that people had to stay overnight with that letter to post the following day. This was a loss to the company and companies those days. So they introduced a vending machine, which today we call ATM machine, to be able to sell stamps. And you can see this vending machine allows us to have a stamp coming out. Immediately you put a coin there, the stamp will come out. Today this technology is allowing us to be able to vend money in terms of notes, and it's also vending other products which are packed. In Ongata Rongai here, some supermarkets are vending milk. At petrol stations, you get ATMs for fuel. At the hospitals, you get such packages like this one. If you go to a hospital, I'll use you as a volunteer. You go to the hospital, and when you are going away, they give you the medicine. What is the first thing you do? They have already told you how to use it. What do you confirm?
it is the right way,
If it's the right one. Yeah, but you're not the expert. How will you know? There is something that you listen, students. There is something I'm sharing here. Maybe it's important. If you go to the hospital, after all the process, you are given the medicine. What is the first thing you check? And that medicine is packed. Expiry date, Yeah, so that is what I was looking for. Expiry date. So if you check, if you are to have this one, now put expiry 2021, you will definitely reject this. So it's very important. In ICT, these manufacturers, they have an obligation. So whatever that item that is coming to your stomach, since the machine cannot talk to you, the manufacturer needs to talk to you. That old technology, the good thing, the human being will talk to you, okay? But the human being has got disadvantages. The machine will be much better. So this is very, very important. Let's move to this area. We mentioned something. There is a word we mentioned. That word is convergence. Convergence. Your modern electronic device in your pocket is a powerful computer in the name of smartphone or iPhone, doing many things for you. Come to the world of social events. We have music. If you look at bands playing music, many decades ago, those bands had many people with different instruments. But modern bands had very few people with few instruments. And one of the instruments is a keyboard, because the keyboard can imitate many things. Many frequencies. It's a storage also that can give you support. And with that, I request the expert in class to play something.
This guy knows how to play.
You can play something, Yeah. Please go ahead. And as usual, people have different ways to react to different music, and I'm one of them. And most likely I need space, because I might start dancing. Please go ahead. Just 1 minute. 1 minute. Stop there, please. Music is so powerful. Music can make you cry, can make you laugh. This one reminds me of my first girlfriend. we shall come back.
Na makosa.
This one, the first automation in the world. I told you about the Charles Babbage equipment. I told you about that device that when you are rotating the rotary dial, this particular machine is called step by step. And I'll just switch it on. It was always very noisy. That clicking, that is the processor. And I'm going to use some metal here to demonstrate what happens. If you dial a number, let's say you are dialing 23. We had a few digits in the beginning. Two was the foundation. Then came to 3, then it came to 4. Today we have 10 digits. So about one digit switching will not give you a lot. I'll show you when we reach there. You see this? This is called a group selector, and this it moves up and also moves horizontal. So when it moves up, it's like going up the floor to choose the number, right? So if it's on ground floor, perhaps that is number 0 something, right? 2 digits. If it's on first floor, that is number 1 something, right? it goes up to 9th floor, right? And that means this one can select up to 100 numbers. Huh? You get my point?
Yes.
And that is the reason for 2 digits. If you have 1 digit, you will not be able to switch, right? But you have 2 digit, you can switch so that the wires running from here to all different holes. So every time you dial a number, this is the kind of sound you get from this switch. That is the first digit you have dialed. Next digit, you can imagine if there are 10 different people dialing, it's very noisy. So the room must always soundproof. And how do you soundproof a room? The walls were always placed with special material so that noise is absorbed. If you're inside there, it's not too much for you. Let's move on. This is the beginning of switching, but manual. This one comes before 1900. The operators are there. They are doing their job. They are using their hands to connect. But this is what I want you to mark. Look at a 1910 headset. 1900 to 1910 headset. It's just metal, and wherever you need to use plastic, you can only use another material which is not plastic. Which material is this? You try to touch it. Ngozi ya nyama.
Leather.
Yeah, ni leather. Plastic had not been invented. So this must be a very old headset.
Yes.
1950s. This is what you get. 1950s. You get a headset that now has some plastic but still retains some metal. 1980s. 1980s, you get such. The metal is as little as possible, but now the whole of it is plastic. Hizi ndizo tulidunda nazo tukiwa students 1989 hapa. They are still in existence, but now we are going Bluetooth. Si ni kweli? Bluetooth, very small one, very small one. Just imagine a whole of this switchboard occupying this space can do maximum 20 calls at a go, 20 calls. And 3 people seated here doing the switching. This is replaced in 1960s by a small one that can do 20 calls with one operator. But all these are codes that are subject to wear and tear. Wear and tear. A lot of maintenance here. These ones are replaced by this. Very little maintenance here. 2-stroke, just 2-stroke. 1980s, you get this one. You get this one that you can just carry. Yet it has replaced the whole of this. Today, if you get employed, whichever company, you will always notice there's somebody at the reception. The receptionist always has this little phone to receive calls coming into the company. Look at this little thing that can do even 100 connections at a go. It's just a single phone. So we have been going smaller in terms of size, but going very big in terms of capacity and speed. Capacity and speed. Our dear students, every time you think about ICT, you cannot avoid thinking about energy. You can't avoid thinking about energy. In the beginning, the energy had to be installed in your house for the telephone. This battery was in your house. This battery was in your house. From 1950s, the battery went back to the service provider. The battery went back to the service provider. The wire running from there all the way to your house was carrying a voltage. and a frequency. The battery has come back to you. Your device has got battery. The same thing that was there in the beginning. Different types of sources of energy. When we invented plastic, we were very happy, but today we are crying because plastic is now destroying the world, and we need to take care of that. We also need to take care of fossil fuel. We have been burning fossil fuel for the last 200 years, and that one has polluted the world. Today, the world is in a rush. The world is in a rush to give you electric cars through electric motors and to give you an alternative to fossil fuel cooking in terms of the magnetron. The magnetron is the most important thing in your oven. So we are going electric. We are also going solar. We are also going back to what Vasco da Gama used. That little short man by the name Vasco da Gama, his ship traveled around Africa to Asia by the use of monsoon winds. Today, we are using winds now to generate power because wind is very clean. Let's move to that side. 1970s, you get the crossbar technology replacing step-by-step technology. 1980s, we get stored program technology, that switch there, replacing crossbar technology. Different types of cables that are covered, wires that are covered by paper instead of plastic. This was a big challenge. Come rain, most networks had problems because of rain. Water can seep into the slightest crack that a cable has. And when it gets into the paper will seep that water through that capillary reaction we learned about at Form 1 or Form 2 in high school. This technology of using paper was replaced by plastic. Up to today, plastic has been the best insulation. Mainframe computer, first generation using vacuum tubes. This one is second generation using discrete components. Different types of telephone types, different types of kibabii access to allow you to have local networks without paying anybody. Multimedia University of Kenya has got its own telephone network. You can call any office without having to use your mobile phone because it's an expenditure paid to Safaricom or Airtel, because we have a PABX to serve all of us. Different types of parts. When you open the CRT technology that has been there for the last 100 years, it's very tedious, consuming a lot of power, since it has been replaced by LCD and other modern types of technologies. Look at projectors, still image projectors from that corner all the way to modern LCD projectors such as this one I'm holding in my hand. However, this was just the beginning, because you can see some of the important items, some of the important ports are missing. HDMI, not there. Think about providing service in a very big area like a county. You are going to have to install base stations, so many of them on land. But this technology allows you to install only one, and it can serve a whole county because it is high up in the sky, just broadcasting the signal to the ground. This is a near-Earth satellite known by the name balloon satellite or lone satellite, placed 40,000 meters up in the sky. That is 40 kilometers up in the sky. Aeroplanes fly at around maximum 10 kilometers. But this one is way ahead. If you want to go to space, you will have to be 200,000 kilometers away to be in space proper. Okay?
So wow, the lifting, how is it done by the use of the balloons?
The lifting, the balloon itself is the hot air balloon, like that one we see the tourists using when they are touring some places in the national park. So it's an hot air balloon, hence the name lone satellite. That's how it's supported. It's still a challenge because you don't expect this to stay in one place when it is supported by hot air balloon. It's still a challenge, and that's why some of this, when they were falling down, this one was donated to us.
Also, this one fell.
This one failed. It's one of those. Google has had many projects being done all over the world, and when they were in collaboration with the Liquid Telecom, is a Kenyan company.
Yes.
They were doing some projects. So Liquid Telecom donated this to us, the one that failed.
What is this exactly?
This is the solar panel. These four are the solar panels.
Yes.
And the transmitter, one is a transmitter, the other one is a receiver. We have some literature on this side and on the other side. Okay. So we have the transmitter, we have the receiver, the solar. These are high gain solar panels. High gain solar panels. They produce up to 30 volts. Moja inatoa 30 volts when it's in the open there. When it's inside here, it can produce the 12 that we normally need.
It's inside.
And it's inside. So it's very high quality.
It's expensive.
Yes, it's quite expensive. But perhaps this one, by the time you are gainfully employed somewhere and you are past where you are now, maybe this is what will be your curtains. It will be your curtains in your house, so that you are producing electricity using your curtain. It's very light. Try to touch one. Try to touch one. It's very light. You can see it's just plastic. Yeah. So if you get in touch with these people who manufacture this, perhaps you can start selling them as curtains, so that people don't struggle so much cleaning. You know, when it's at the roof there, you need to keep going there, like mine at the top of my house. I have to go after every 1 week to clean it to get maximum efficiency or dust. Like the ones that are normally sent up to other planets. After some time, your dust, if you share funika, there's no communication now because.
So they are also cleaned.
They have to, like the modern ones that are sent there, they have to find a way of cleaning them. But those first ones that were, like the first ones that landed on Mars, those ones they are now even below the dust. When I was a little boy, Kenya Film Corporation of Kenya, I don't know whether it still exists. It was a very, very important government corporation. It went all over the country showing movies. At the field, the vehicle would come in at around 5. Then they prepare. From 7, you expect some darkness to start appearing. Then now if the projector projects, and those are the projectors. The projector projects the image onto the big screen. Then you can those three, you can see the big image on the screen, and you can watch your most of those movies were cowboy films. And after this idea of us going to the movies in the field to watch free movies, when we grow up, we start seeing now movies which we pay for. But nowadays, you have the movies in your mobile device. So you must be living in very fantastic times. In the modern world, we have sensors. A sensor that can sense motion, such as that one, with the strobe light. The strobe light is alerting you visually. It can also alert you by sound, such as the one at the door when you are coming in. It can also do some work for you. It can switch on security lights. Let me imitate that. And it should switch on security lights. The reason why it's not switching on is somebody has been here somewhere, or there is no power to this temple. But when it's working, the photo cell is supposed to switch on. Your security light. This was the first technology to be used in the streets. And the guy who came up with this idea